Talk. I am here with my lovely guest and co-host. State your name for the camera, please.
I am Naysha.
I'm Isaiah.
Yeah, alright. So first, we're going to be talking about 3 different topics. We're going to make them short and simple, so we can keep it in a condensed form. So first, we're going to talk about colorism. So how do you think colorism has affected your view on the world as a Black American or African American? How do you choose to say it?
Well, I guess being darker or more chocolate, of a skin tone female, it can be sometimes challenging because you have the whole light skin, dark skin thing, which unfortunately sucks. Now, darker skin is starting to become more of a celebrated and happy kind of trend, I guess, in a sense. Whereas before it was all about being light skinned and it was how light you were, and light skinned girls get all the guys or whatever. So I guess in that way sometimes.
Yeah, in relation to the dark skin, light skin battle, that's what you see growing up. I've seen it primarily affect girls for the most part, and seeing that whole dynamic shift between them. And at first, as you're growing up, you're maybe this is it's something they're joking about for the most part. But then you start to get older, you realize that this wasn't really, they weren't joking. People were really this is really stigma, internalized hate towards one another because of the idealized thing of being European beauty standards. And if you can't at least coexist with those standards, then it's you're seen as less than. And being darker is far removed from the white skin of a European woman for the most part. So lighter skin, they attributed that as society has told us that white is right, and that the lighter you are, the lighter your hair is, the lighter your eyes are, the more attractive you are. Your body shape and things like that, primarily your skin color.
Yeah. I know it's very interesting for me personally because, as you can see, I'm a light-skinned individual. So it's I never really knew about it much until I got around more Black people who was growing up in Arkansas. There aren't many of us out there. So it's when I got here to Chicago is when I really saw, oh, there's a difference between light skin versus dark skin and everything of that nature. Some of the things that I even talk about is even in TV shows, we see it. We got shows Blackish, and everyone in the show is of a lighter complexion. So it's just really pretty interesting whenever you kind of put it all into a scheme of things. Even with artists Amara La Negra versus Cardi B, they both had to identify as Afro-Latinx, but of course one is more famous than the other.
Or another, reality star I just thought of, Spice. That was a new thing with Love and Hip Hop, where she wanted to dye her skin all white because in her country where she's from, the darker skin is not celebrated as much, and especially her trying to come here, there, it's just she felt that makes a statement, and that was a statement, and it did make a statement. Everybody was what are you doing? Why? You should be proud. And sometimes you just gotta step back and realize, no, this is actually a thing that people deal with on an everyday basis, and it's actually more serious than what you think it is.
It's interesting how it's not just an American phenomenon, how it is global. I know in Jamaica, a lot of people to bleach their skin. For the most part, try to get that lighter complexion, that lighter skin tone. So they bleach their skin, and a lot of artists, a lot of people have always been bleaching their skin. And it's really interesting to see how that internalized hate is there. I can always go back to slavery, the darker person going working in the field, as opposed to a lighter person working in a house because they were usually someone who cared for their kids, someone who can be trusted with. So that kind of just divides us. Basically, there's always a point to divide us.
But it's also, I would say it's also interesting that white people, in a sense, they typically tan, or they do things to make their skin more darker of a complexion. So I think it's very interesting that we strive so much, or our community, elements of our community strive so much to be lighter, and that's what's worshipped, and that's what's the beauty standard, whereas in the white community, it's the reverse. So I think that's also something that's very interesting to this.
Do you think subconsciously we kind of get used to seeing things like that. Because like, there's artists like, I used to say Caroline, like, she's a Latin individual, and like, people like rave about her looks. Like, don't get me wrong, she's a beautiful person, but like, we rave about her, but it's like someone like Summer Walker, we won't really rave about. So they think like subconsciously, like the media and also just through history, we like become part of like that system.
Yeah, I think subconsciously it plays a part because once you see these images and these narratives out over and over and over constantly throughout the media, whether it's social media, whether it's television, or just the news film, whatever, it just starts to subconsciously bring this up in your head. And you start to think it's true. And then at some point, some people start to realize what's the difference between like reality and what's in their head. So like, that's easy. So only some people could do that though. Not everyone actually sits down and actually dissects certain things to understand what's reality and what's not. And then but nowadays it gets mixed. So people will take their subconscious and mix it with the reality. They don't like idealize that lighter skin complexion, but they think that that's what's right.
But I do find that in this new day and age, a lot of us are knowing that it's subconscious and are knowing that it's something that's been going on for too long. And so what I do appreciate is that there are some people in some different ways that we're trying to change that. So that part I appreciate, but yeah, it's definitely something that is a subconscious thing.
So when it comes also to that, like colorism is like a form of prejudice that people have. It's kind of weird when it comes to prejudice, because like where we kind of draw the line between prejudice and racism, because like people always ask the question, can black people be racist? Which, yeah, by the definition of racism, we can't be racist. But like, where we really draw the line between being prejudiced and being racist, because if we're gonna be real, some people that we wouldn't really agree with, they're not racist, they're just prejudiced against people. So where we kind of draw that line, or like how do you think we can draw the line?
Well, the definition of racism is a noun: prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism, directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. So
it's like, people like will say there's a difference between prejudice and racism, but prejudice was within the definition.
Yeah,
of racism.
that's a different definition from what I studied. I mean, there's different definitions of racism. It's always constantly evolving and stuff like that. The way I view racism is that it's an institutional structure that is basically white people use it to control people. Like there's a power dynamic there. Normally with money, for the most part, that economic power to like stifle someone from an opportunity, a job opportunity, something to advance growth. And prejudice is more like those internalized stereotypes that you may have towards certain people and what you may believe about them based off what you saw in the media and what's like ingrained in your mind. But other than that, it's like prejudice allows you to like, you'll say something, but it's like, is it really having an adverse effect on your lifestyle? I mean, if their feelings, yes, and that shouldn't really be like belittled or anything like that. But racism operates in a way that's kept people of color, specifically black people, oppressed for a very long time, based on the color of their skin and the notion that the white race is superior, or at least white elites, they do that so that poor whites and poor blacks can argue against each other about who's better.
yeah.
And there's no way for them to be advanced against each other.
And I do think that's where the Google definition does touch on that with that last word of superior, because when you first start reading the definition that Google gives you, you're kind of just like, oh, anybody can be racist. But that last word, that superior word, is where it distinguishes between racism and prejudice, I would say.
Yeah.
I think that's where, because not every community is superior than another.
Right.
So,
And I think there's always been like a dynamic between like prejudice, discrimination, and racism in that order for the most part. Because a lot of people, like we always have these internalized notions and these ideas that are in our head for whatever reason. And sometimes you see something and you just think something like, oh, like, why do I just think that? And that's like prejudice. That's a prejudice that you have because of whatever reason, whether it's because of how you're raised, you saw on TV, your personal beliefs, whatever it is, that's a prejudice. And then what do you do about that? Do you correct yourself and be like, oh, that's not right. I know that's not right. Let me get rid of that. And then you move on from there and you treat people accordingly to that, or do you discriminate against them based off of what you think about them? Things you don't really, that aren't really fact, it's more just something that you thought about. And then that's discrimination. And then discrimination turns to racism by the sense that it's institutional now and it's structured in a way that keeps people down, and they don't have any room for advancement in America or for the rest of the world for the most part.
I guess I just feel like, I would just say us as a black community, we just can't necessarily, we can be prejudiced, we can discriminate or based off what you just said, it starts as a prejudice thought, then it goes into discrimination. I feel like that's pretty much what we as the black community, especially in society now, that's what we technically would call it. I feel like, but racist is hard to call it, especially now. What I've just learning things, listening to so many different perspectives. I've had this conversation even with friends and parents and grandparents of my friends, and just hearing the different opinions on it. Just looking at it, I just can't see us as being racist because we're not that majority. We are the minority, and unfortunately, to be racist, even in the definition, you have to have a superior power over another community, and we just don't have that, and we've never had that in society.
And it's been the same since the end of the Civil War, and then when it came into Reconstruction, and it stayed the same up until the market crash in 2008, and then it went down even more because a lot of people were targeted because of their subprime loans or whatever, primarily people of color and black people who thought that they could, afford this kind of rent and they couldn't. So black wealth went down. So we don't own property, we don't own a lot of stuff in America. So there's no way that we can really institute any kind of way to stop people from advancing because we can't even advance for ourselves at this point because they instituted certain ways that keep us down.
Yeah. So when it comes to the question of prejudice, why do you think it's such a big issue within the black community itself? Because there'll be black people that are prejudiced against their own people. For instance, there's a stereotype of what a hotep would be. They're prejudiced against basically black woman, any black male who's not trying to push their own narrative. So why do you think things like that are such a big issue within our own community that we don't really address?
I just feel like people and us as humans, we just have this urge to hate. I don't know, it's for some reason there's this urge in society wherever you look to just kind of have this negative vibe. So it's even if we're not hating on black or white, then we're going to hate on black. Then we have to find something to pick at, because even if it wasn't this thing, even if it wasn't because you're light skinned, I'm dark skinned, or darker, it could be your hair and my hair. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be something, and I just feel like in general that's a people thing. That's not even necessarily a race thing. That's just us as for some reason there's something in people that just has to nitpick and challenge and compete, and I'm better than you cuz, and just that.
Yeah, it's as if they want to stand out in a sense. And a lot of times they try to stand out, try to boast things based off their own insecurities.
Yeah.
So they try to point to things that mirror their insecurities, so that it's you're taking a big contrast away from it. For the most part, if someone went to school for a very long time, they'll try and boast the fact that they had education and stuff like that, but they won't be able to connect with people on a cultural level, on an everyday, day-to-day sense. Someone else who could connect with people more easily, talk to them, have a rapport with them, but they aren't as formally educated with it, so they work towards their strengths. And then now when the educated person comes back to the community to try and help, they're like, oh, you don't know nothing about the community, you don't know nothing about this, I did this. And then basically sort of roles like that. The educated person is like, oh, well, you don't know nothing about this or whatever like this, as opposed to working together.
Right.
They'll try to
instead of
boast.
Celebrating each other's gifts, and
Yeah.
because technically we're all puzzle pieces. If you really want to think about it, that's why sometimes working together works so well, because I may bring this to the group, you may bring that, they bring this, and that's what makes it work. But we're too busy focusing on, I have this and this is what I offer, so I'm better than you because this is what I offer and you don't offer that same thing. Well, no, of course you don't offer that same thing because we're two different people.
Sticking with the idea of staying inside the black community, is a question that we're always asked whenever we bring up the idea of Black Lives Matter. What about black on black crime? How come it's not an issue that's really brought up when it comes to people having these conversations about Black Lives Matter, and how come the Black Lives Matter movement doesn't really talk about it as much?
Well, the Black Lives Matter movement isn't predicated on the fact of black on black crime. It's about police brutality and the injustice that black Americans have faced throughout the course of history. But throughout our special time, we've had the privilege of having more cellular technology and things that are more mobile. So it's easier for things to be recorded and magnified in that sense, and things are easier to blow up when people are actually able to see it. We knew police brutality was happening for a very long time. It's been happening since, you can even say, the Revolutionary War, and Christmas Addicts was shot. But then you can go down to like race riots and everything like that from the 1800s, 1900s, and then present day. So we always knew that, but they never believed us because we had no documentation of it, and because they wouldn't believe us anyway. You can still see it now because like people are you see the video, we show it to them, and people are still getting let off from it. And that's exactly where Black Lives Matter movement came into play. So you can't ask them to focus on something that they weren't intended to focus on in the beginning. Black on black crime, on the other hand, is something that people use to cop out, basically to reflect things back onto us. As opposed to addressing their own problem, looking in the mirror for themselves and addressing the fact that they're the problem and that they're unjustly targeting us for the most part. Like you see it every day and you see it all the time, but they're not addressing that. They try to point it back on us. The people that ask the question, well, what about black on black crime? They don't have an answer for any of the other things that cause black on black crime, or look themselves in the mirror to understand what Black Lives Matter is about.
Well,
Alright then.
I guess. What do I say to that? No, but I guess, well, I would say to that is back to the idea of, don't you deal with your personal or your struggles in-house? Like, just like in your house, there's statements, and does it work all the time? Not necessarily, but especially in the Black community, there's a common thing that what goes on in this house stays in this house, and we deal with things in this house and as a family. So I feel like that also can correlate into the Black community. We have to handle our community and deal with ourselves. Us telling you that we have black on black crime, or that being a thing, that doesn't affect you, that affects us. So we need to deal with that in our community. That still does not take away from the fact of what you do to us, period. As he just perfectly gave every fact there is. So it doesn't take it away. So you can bring it up all day. You can continue to bring it up. That's something, the issues that the black community deal with are in our community, and we have to deal with those as our community. No other community, race can change what goes on in our community, only we can. So that is not something that I feel like anybody else should worry about. That's something that we have to focus on. So that's why, another reason why the Black Lives Matter movement, that is not the movement. As he said, that's not the movement. The movement is to bring forth attention to police brutality in the Black community.
Well, this is America. So that's where we're going to leave it at. If you have anything you want to say, leave a comment down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share with somebody Black, share with somebody that's not Black. Let them know to come to Columbia Black Student Union next fall and in the spring. All 30 meetings, because it's 15 in each week, each semester. Not really. But on that note, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you come back again whenever we post again.